Welcome, everybody. It's Michael Ibbott here, and Happy New Year. I can't see your faces yet, but hopefully you're all healthy and doing well. Today's presentation, sponsored by Derme&Co, will be on body care treatment and how to incorporate it into your facility. I hope everybody is nice and warm today. So some of the things I'll be talking about will be really important for you to maybe consider in your marketing strategy for the next few months if you're living in the north, especially if you're living in the north, because it does get a little bit cold there. As I move through with my presentation, you'll notice that the slides will be scrolling as opposed to just clicking. So disregard that. It's just because of the computer system that I'm using today. The body care is being sponsored by Nelly De Vuyst, the brand that originates in Brussels, Belgium, now manufactured in Quebec, Canada, and a brand that has been established since 1946. I will get into more details about Nelly as we go through the presentation, but for the moment, just a little bit of information with regards to what we want you to be thinking about. The brands that Derme&Co formulate as well as distribute, the Nelly De Vuyst brand, the Druid label, which is something that would be wonderful for people that need something either in the private label division or something that's a little bit more exclusive, the Druid BioLove that we have for baby, the Alaska brand that we have for wax and miscellaneous, and then of course private label for people that really want to have their own brand and need an avenue for fulfilling their clients' specific needs. We produce natural and organic products, and also for people that are looking for things that are very exclusive to their environment, we can do custom blending formulations, and you can just speak to one of our representatives regarding that if that's where you want to go. So a little bit about Nelly. The brand itself has been around, as I mentioned, since 1946. The challenge with all skincare lines is really, do they actually work? Now, I would expect that anybody that has been around since 1946 would appreciate that how being in business and manufacturing for almost 80 years now would mean that we're actually doing something right. And the beauty of the brand in terms of being well established is that how the delivery mechanism, which is called the diadermic method, allows for the active ingredients, again, these are plant-based, to actually work through the upper epidermal barrier and target the lower layers of the skin. And if we are talking about cellulite as an example, we're looking at the hypodermis. So it's important for the molecule to be able to have a size small enough to actually get into the skin and challenge the actual physical body. So some of the explanation I'll go through as we talk a little bit more about how to use the brand and how it would work to change the skin and satisfy your client needs. It's just too important that technology does matter, and it makes a big difference with regards to the end result. So the organic ingredients that we utilize will be ingredients that you might already be familiar with. I have a list here that you can read for yourself, obviously. The most important thing is that how any formula that is being manufactured by Nelly is exclusive. So we don't use the same formulations for private label. And since scientists are responsible for the development of the line, it's important to note that every company and every scientist and people that do formulations, the chemists, are looking at the range of ingredients that are available on the marketplace, with well over 500,000 plants being studied year to day in the science of botany. We're talking about the potential for plants to do something. So research is really critical with how things will work to change the skin. And if we're working epidermally, dermally, or hypodermally, we want to make sure we're satisfying all the parameters of healthy skin. So our formulas, though they are healthy for the environment, have to be healthy for the ecosystem of the skin as well. So with the diadermic method, The potential, as I mentioned, is to get into the skin. So the best way for me to actually describe this, I'm just going to move my slide a little bit just so you can see, is that when we look at the upper layer of the skin, the epidermis, we know that how the barrier itself is very difficult to actually penetrate. So a lot of products that are on the market actually are surfactants. They just sit on the surface of the skin. We consider the skin to be an ecosystem. So the outer barrier has to have the ability to protect us from bacteria, from fungi. And with regards to the current state of affairs globally, with regards to viruses, the skin itself will have a barrier protection to prevent something from getting in. But if the barrier is broken, that's where the problem with lie with regards to an infection that may go dermally into the skin and affect the whole body. Obviously, it's very important to have good skin hygiene and good hygiene with regards to your use of PPE before you actually do treatments. But soap and warm water will destroy the outer membrane of a virus. So it is important to cleanse the body, cleanse your body, cleanse the client's body before you actually start to use anything on the skin. It goes without saying, just a little reminder that we are concerned about the efficacy of our formulas, but most importantly, the care that's necessary to make sure that we have the best results without our clients feeling stressed. So the immediate transformation of the skin really has to do with the conditioning of the skin. So we have protocol in play to condition the epidermis, which can be used for face as well as body. And the maximum penetration of active ingredients is really the blend of ingredients that work together to actually maximize the potential of whatever you're trying to do. So as a result of its size, the molecule size that is, it will penetrate into the skin and we will have results. So with body care, which has been around for a long, long time, you may recall in your history classes at school that Cleopatra was famous for bathing in milk. And that's really because if you break it down, milk itself is lactic acid. So it's an excellent formula for conditioning the skin, making it soft, smooth, and supple. So whenever we talk about thalassotherapy and we're utilizing what is available, Europe has been probably in the forefront of utilizing spa. So whether we're using seaweed or we're using essential oils or plant extracts, everything can have a purpose. So you would want to consider at this time of the year, perhaps introducing something into your environment that would be relaxing, because a lot of people are stressed. And the side effect of doing your relaxing treatment will be hydrating and potentially detoxifying for the body. We'll talk about slimming and we'll talk about how slimming can be relevant as we move later on in the season, but into spring and summer. But definitely we can utilize forms of thalassotherapy throughout the entire year. It doesn't have to be exclusive just for the visual appearance of cellulite. With the body transformations, incorporating Nelly De Vuyst into other methodologies, whether you're using a machine or a device or in conjunction with massage, it would be an excellent way to create a routine or a protocol where your clients can have the benefit of multiple services in one treatment time. And obviously this can maximize your potential income and revenue stream. And keeping in mind that anybody that's actually coming in for a treatment should be considering proper home care to maintain whatever it is that they're actually trying to do. Also in this conversation, I want to talk a little bit more about concepts. And one of the concepts we want to talk about is alternative thinkings and philosophy. Some will consider this to be more in Eastern medicine. In Western medicine, we think more of the physiological, psychological nature of the body and how they may interact. But in Eastern medicine, we have body types that we may consider to be essential in understanding so we can have the best results for somebody's specific morphology, as we call it. And the 4 body types as listed here are fire, water, earth, and air, which will also be known as the four elements. There's a fifth element, but in Chinese medicine, ether. But they correlate actually in morphologies to fire being the bilious, water being the lymphatic, earth being the nervous, and air being the sanguineous. So whenever we're talking about these particular body types and how they can actually be understood better, we do have information for you to be able to refer to, and I will bring that information up in a minute. But for those that are actually incorporating body work into their environment, please do a professional consultation. Your clients need to know what the results will be for a specific type of service. And in fact, they're looking for a specific result usually. So consider their needs and their expectations, that they have to use product in order to be able to change their bodies long term, or they have to do things that will be working in their favor in the right direction. And obviously their health and their history is very important, and not just their personal health, perhaps even their genetic predispositions, so you can have an idea and a gauge as to where they would want to go. To make life a lot easier for you, we have created a chart. The Nelly chart is outlined. I'm just going to blow it up a little bit here. So there is a step-by-step protocol for the face, as you can see here. But also on this chart, we have the body section. So even if you're doing a facial and you are incorporating home care for your client in that treatment protocol, they will obviously be able to see that you have things available for the body, and they may be even asking questions. So this is an excellent way to introduce the products and your services into what they would benefit from. And just a little reminder, my philosophy is from the inside out and from the outside in, but your head is not separated from your body. So total wellness, total health is what we're really trying to encourage our clients to consider. When you're looking after the body, obviously the skin benefits, the face benefits, and your overall health and wellness benefits as well. So for a treatment plan, you may want to consider talking about lifestyle changes. Some of us in this field have education in dietary aspects or in physical training, and if you are qualified in those arenas, please do utilize them. But what I'm about to talk about is a little bit more of a generalization. I myself am not a dietitian, but I do practice good health. At least I think I practice good health and wellness. And exercise and sleep is very important, obviously, for all of our needs to work. Home care, absolutely important, because you need to have the right tools, and the treatment program and how long it would actually take for results to occur is very important within your environment. Please don't guarantee things, because the challenge with a lot of people that are doing services is their expectations might be unrealistic. As an example, a woman comes in, she wants to do some detox treatments because she thinks it's going to make a difference with her liver. We're not talking about a specific organ being detoxified. We're talking about draining the body of impurities so that how it's functioning in a more normal or a homeostatic balance. But most important than anything else, it's about discipline. Are you being the client willing to actually do the work? And if you're not willing to do the work, then unfortunately it is a challenge, because the person that's doing the massage, the person that's doing the facial is only doing a small percentage of the work for you. They are really the trainer. And if they're training their clients well, they will encourage the clients to do the work so they can get the best results. So 50% of the results, as we say here, comes from the client doing their work. So if they are somebody that does harm to their own body, bringing in toxins, if they're a smoker, if they're not sleeping well, if they're stressed, all these things have a major impact on the end results. So it is important to bring it up at the very beginning in your consultation. Do you smoke? If the answer is yes, well, that does diminish your results. That would be the answer. And if they're saying, well, how much does it diminish it? Well, in fact, smoking can bring your results to a point where it's at a standstill. You get no results if you've been smoking for a long, long time, because the toxicity within the system, the healing of the body, all these things make a big difference with oxygen potential. And that is greatly reduced if you're a heavy smoker. That is just an example I'm giving you of one of the things that many people do that they maybe should consider not doing. And of course, the biggest thing right now is sleep or lack of sleep. A lot of people are very stressed. And if the nervous system itself is not in a balanced state, it makes a big difference with regards to how things are absorbed. And we are hardwired with regards to our electrical energy, the brain function, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system, for it to play havoc on our system if it is not functioning well. So even if it's relaxation, as I mentioned in the very beginning of our conversation, what we want to focus on, it's really important to talk about stress and sleep. Madame Pilon wrote an excellent book. This is actually a summation or an excellent interpretation of Hippocrates' study of the morphologies, which was done over 2,000 years ago. And Hippocrates, which was a philosopher in ancient times, he actually did a study called the study of the humors, which is temperamental predisposition. What Madame Pilon has done is actually interpreted his particular analysis and brought it down into simpler terms. I highly recommend getting the book for self-studying. There are little exercises you can do at the end of each chapter so you can become well-versed in understanding. The implication here with understanding the body types is really that you understand perhaps yourself, the people that you live with, but most importantly, your clients, how to gauge how their bodies would react to certain types of treatment, but what their needs may be and how you can better move them forward in their journey. So the body type classification, as I mentioned, over 2,000 years ago, the similarities in other countries or other areas of the world, the Chinese have a system called the 5 elements. Again, it's earth, wood, fire, air, and ether. The Indians have the 3 doshas, the vata, pitta, and kapha. And the 4 temperaments of Hippocrates would be bilious, sanguineous, nervous, and lymphatic. So we're going to look at the body types. But important to understand the body types is what we're doing is not judging the individual. We actually don't want you to consider their body weight overall. There are people that are naturally robust. There are people that perhaps have a little bit more baggage than they may wish to have. Those are things that can actually be changed with regards to body weight. That can be changed over time and sometimes quite quickly, depending on what they're challenging themselves with. So what we're really looking at are things that can't really be changed. Number one, the proportion. Your body proportion is inherited by your parents and your ancestry. You may consider that people from the Nordic environment are all large, big boned individuals. Well, maybe they're not. They are not so narrowly defined, or should not be so narrowly defined. So we're looking at the bone structure, we're looking at the muscle structure, obviously, which sits on top of the bone, but the overall body structure, what we're looking for is the proportion. So when we do a body evaluation, you should actually be looking at your client without garments. Of course, they can be wearing undergarments, but you really need to look at their body without garments so you can see the actual shape. You need to look at the back of the body as well as the front of the body. And if you are doing a service that is going to suggest that you're going to change the body, you may want to photograph the body, of course, with a client's permission, so that how you can document the transformation of the body over a period of time. We classify, or Madame Pilon has classified the 2 body types as angulars or amples. Angulars being people that have sharp edges, like a triangle or a square or a rectangle. Ampules, people that have rounder shapes or more oval shapes, curves. So when we're talking about angulars, you'll notice that how in the bottom or the paragraphs, we see green and yellow underneath angulars, and we see red and white underneath ampules. If you look at the pictures, I'm sorry, I don't have a pointer here, but if you look at the pictures on the upper left-hand side, you'll see that how the two individuals, male and female, have strong shoulders, more on the square side. When you look at the pictures on the upper right-hand side, you'll see that the male and the female, their torso, which is from the shoulder to the hip, that the waist itself is straight. And from the shoulder to the hip, you'll notice if you actually visualize a rectangle, they have a more rectangular shape in that area. When you look at the ampules, you'll see on the lower left side a more curvaceous form. Women used to be described as Rubenesque in the late 1800s and early 1900s. And you're going to see with the lower right that how everything looks a little bit more rounder. So with regards to the ampule predisposition, these two individuals or these body types are more circulatory in nature. So they do tend to have weaknesses as they age if they're not looking after themselves with regards to the vascular system. So the three circulatory systems, again, to remind you in your physiology, you have arterial flow, which is oxygenated blood or red blood moving through the body. You have venous circulation, which is the elimination of impurities caused from cellular exchange. We also call it waste blood. And then we have the lymphatic system, which is working to support both arterial circulation and venous circulation. So this becomes a little bit of an assist with regards to bringing white blood cells to the area, but also draining impurities from the body that may be the result of having edema or swelling. So hydric cellulite, as an example, is quite common in this body type, which means that the fat is associated with fluids. And usually when people of this nature start to reduce their carbohydrate intake, as an example, they tend to lose a lot of water. And that's really because the carbohydrate molecule allows the body to store more water. It's just an attraction thing with carbs in the body. Venous insufficiencies, such as poor circulatory function, can lead to the appearance of varicose veins, especially in the legs. If you're doing any body wraps or treatments, take note of the varicosities because too much heat can create a problem for the individual. And generally, these body types, as they age, and if their skin is light, so if their genetic predisposition is light-skinned, they may develop symptoms or appearances of rosacea because the epidermis ages faster in light-skinned ample body types. In dark-skinned body types, because of the genetic predisposition, it's not true, but they certainly may have rosacea based on other factors. As a result of the epidermis becoming thinner, there is a tendency for the skin to become more sensitive. And that is because the skin being thinner creates a more reactive potential. If ingredients are too strong, such as a retinol as an example, or a strong concentration of vitamin C, they may feel burning or irritation. They may have rashes because of the thinness of the epidermis. They're just absorbing ingredients sometimes too fast. So in your consultation, ask questions like, do you have any known sensitivities? Do you have any reactions? Do you know what you may be irritated to? You may have to do patch tests with these individuals to make sure they're not getting reactions, because nobody wants to go through a service or a series of services and be irritated by them. And in with edema or water retention, usually with body wraps, they can sweat quite excessively, especially the body types we call the sanguineous body types. So those body types, which are on the right-hand side. So pardon me, I actually, in the last page, I said something I shouldn't have. Well, you'll notice here that how the left two body types, they're rounder. The right two body types are more robust. So the left ones are called the lymphatic and the right ones are called the sanguineous body types. So sanguineous morphology, which is what we're going to talk about right now. The chart, and this will actually be given in Manon's book as well too. The outline here is for you to look in observation into the totality of the individual. So you're looking at, again, the muscle structure and the bone structure. So notice on the male that how his shoulder is curved, sloping down. So when red blood or hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, is dominant in an individual, meaning that they have a red undertone to their skin, oxyhemoglobin is nutrition, food. It's food supply for the cells. So the muscles themselves tend to have a more stronger fiber. So they are more robust in nature because they build muscle much faster. You'll see that the large muscle groups in these body types, the back and the legs, are much stronger if they're actually exercising, and they grow much faster because of the abundant supply of hemoglobin. But to have an abundant supply of hemoglobin is excellent for bone strength and muscle strength, but too much of it can lead to a hyperactivity in terms of cellular turnover. So as a result of it, this is where rosacea can potentially become a problem when we look at the face. Too much excitement of hemoglobin is much like a volcano that's working very actively. So you have a rapid increase in cellular turnover. As a result, they can mimic conditions like eczema or at least dermatitis when it comes to the face. Their eye area, as an example, becomes thinner, more hypersensitive. So they have to be more concerned as they age, or sometimes they're more concerned as they age with regards to chemical sensitivity or irritation caused by product. And generally, because they're on the sensitive side, your programs will have to start off very condensed so that how they can build a routine to make sure they're not getting a reaction. But with regards to the body type itself, if we're doing body treatments, they do build muscle very quickly. And as a result of that muscle growth, any fat that's actually in the body itself can be more visible or pronounced because the muscle is dense, it's strong, but it's also a round shape. So their bellies may protrude or project. And if they're looking for their waist to become slimmer or more slender, they may be disappointed in the first week or two because the muscle may be growing faster than the fat is diminishing. So just keep note of, again, what people are, what are their expectations? What are they really looking for? Because the challenge sometimes is that this body type is, in terms of just temperamental predispositions, they can be a little impulsive. They're looking for things to happen right away, and they'll do too many things at the same time, hoping that everything done at the same time will give them the best results, but it can actually be too much of a challenge for the body, and there's no balance actually happening in their particular application or treatment. With the lymphatic morphology, the second of the ample body types, their circulatory system is a little bit more stagnant as they age. The lymphatic circulation, again, is helping with bringing good things to the cells, such as leukocytes, but it's also eliminating some of the toxicity maybe naturally building up from the body. As a result of it, we have to consider in their particular cases edema that's actually creating predisposition for swelling of the legs, especially towards the distal portions of the legs, so thicker ankles, thicker wrists for females and even some males, but females specifically, the breast becoming more pendulous, and body weight to be hanging in the middle, getting into the pelvic girdle. So there's almost like a heavier pear shape that's happening with this individual. They can sweat easily, but the previous morphology, the sanguineous morphology, sweats excessively. So when you actually do body wraps with the sanguineous morphology, I do suggest you actually put a face cloth underneath their bottom to absorb the excess sweat that may be happening caused by the body wrap. With the lymphatic, they don't sweat as much, and they're more cold and clammy by nature, but do put the towel underneath their seat as well. They just need to know that in the treatments, it's in a subsequent treatments that they're going to start to feel the activation of the synergies, because it takes some time for the body to assimilate the active ingredients. Their lymphatic circulation can be challenged with other disciplines such as lymphatic drainage, but ideally this body type is best suited to walking after a meal to stimulate the lymphatic circulation to activate, and this will help not only with digestive flow, it'll also help to reduce any edema that they may develop. And salt and starch is a big problem with this body type because it does create the potential for more edema. Again, the first two body types, we're talking about hydric cellulite or water associated or fluid associated with the body types. So when we get into the aesthetic appearance of the angular body types, taking note that how the people on the left, the male and female on the left picture, which is the green square, they have the ideal body types according to Western society or civilization. So they're well proportioned. The other two, the rectangular body types, they're more disproportional in the sense that how their arms and their legs are long and lean, and their middle body, their thorax area is slender but also straight. So they don't really develop or have a waist compared to the green square body types. These two body types gain weight in different ways. In fact, they show muscle definition easily because of the lack of body fat in the upper part of the body. And with the green square, you'll see that how from the navel down to the knees, for females especially, they tend to accumulate cellulite or fatty deposits as they age. Whereas the the yellow rectangles generally don't gain a lot of weight as they age. They have a high metabolism, but they can be what we call skinny fat. They can look slim, but not necessarily be healthy. And the fat that they have can be sometimes problematic with regards to high lipids in their bloodstream. The bilious morphology, the green square, the ideal body type, again, as I mentioned, in Western culture, is defined by square shapes, whether it's their face or the square you might see from their shoulders to their hips. If you do an imaginary image there on top of the male or female, you see it's more square in nature. You can have a combination of shapes, so you can be a bilious morphology dominant, but have some red oval shapes, so a little bit of green, a little bit of red. What you're trying to determine is the dominant body type. The bilious morphology, we also consider them to be liver dominant in terms of the organs. So they are people that need to be considerate of fats coming into their body, how they digest the fats. Gallbladder and liver work in conjunction if we're talking about Eastern medicine. So fats, especially unhealthy fats, might not be the best thing for them. And their nervous energy is a little bit on the high side. They tend to be high in terms of brain activity, so natural multitaskers, overthinkers, and they do challenge you with regards to your services in terms of expectations. So they would probably be the most concerned about how long is it going to take, what is it going to do, how is it going to do it, and they're going to challenge you with regards to not only the service, the quality of the service, but the guarantee that you're going to offer with the services you provide. So you have to be on top of your game when you're actually dealing, especially with this body type. Not to say the other two previous body types don't challenge you. Of course they may, but this, I'm giving you a little heads up with regards to the one that may give you a little bit more work. Once they get the results, though, this body type is probably your best friend. She or he will be talking about you. They are your business card. They tend to be the most loyal of the four morphologies. They stick with people through thick and thin if they're getting the results and the guarantees that they're looking for. So a good client to have, especially if you're delivering the goods. And the last of the four morphologies, the nervous morphology, absolutely benefits now from stress relief, because this is a time historically where all of us are going through challenges and perhaps overthinking things or worrying about things too much, needless to say, can create a problem. They naturally have a predisposition towards brain stress, which can lead to digestive stress, which can lead to an autoimmune issue. So though they may not come in for a body wrap and may benefit from a body wrap in terms of relaxation, they would not be the person that you'd be thinking coming in for weight loss. Though they may have issues with cellulite. Again, it's what we call soft, mushy brown fat, usually around the upper thighs, the buttock area. But for them, it's a big deal. And we want to encourage them to look after themselves better. And when I get into body brushing in a minute, they are the body type, along with the lymphatic, that definitely needs to be doing body brushing to accelerate the lymphatic circulation, to stimulate collagen formation, so they have strong dermal tone to diminish the appearance of the fat they may be concerned about. So with the main causes of cellulite, we have some great informational charts for you to study. You want to talk to your clients about their circulatory system, about their digestive imbalance or poor elimination, about how hormonal changes will actually affect their body. Everybody is at a different stage in their life. You know, when you're comparing yourself to a 14-year-old man or woman and you're in your 60s or 70s, you know, that's not a fair comparison, perhaps, to the 14-year-old. But we want to make sure that we are actually in the right parameters with whomever we're talking to suggest to them what may be something that they might have to look at. And though you may not be an MD, or maybe if you are, you still need to look at the balances of the overall body. Stress, as I mentioned before, being the number one contributing factor to a person's overall wellness and health, and most obviously, poor diet. You are a product of what you eat. What you put into your body makes a big difference with everything, not only your digestive balance, but your mood, your energy, your overall circulatory system. And it is, as food is a necessary requirement for all of us to survive, it is also the source of essential fatty acids, minerals, vitamins, and all the components, healthy fats, that are going to make a difference with body rejuvenation, skin rejuvenation, and it's the arc that will take you from a poor state to a great state if we're looking over time. So for recommendations and health and lifestyle changes, you may want to either associate yourself with a doctor if you're not already a doctor, but have information available to your clients if they're suspecting that some of the things that they're going through or experiencing are related to hormonal changes. If it's to do with circulation, the best thing is to look at their legs. If you're seeing somebody that has varicose veins, you don't want to be using excessive heat in their body wrap. So you need a temperature gauge to make sure that how they are comfortable. And of course, just asking, are you comfortable, will make a big difference. So when people are having vascular stress, a lot of people don't wear support hose. It does make a difference if you have varicose veins, because it's all about retention. And when you're doing things that affects your body with regards to a lot of people wearing tight jeans, restricting the flow of fluids or the elimination of impurities, that will make a big difference with the end result of treatments, but how the client actually feels. Also, with lifestyle changes, just from a dietary aspects, a lot of people are on diets. They're on the keto diet, they're on a paleo diet, they're on McDonald's diet. Diets don't overall work. It's about you being very conscious of how your body responds to foods and food groups. So though some people may benefit from a reduction or restriction of carbohydrates, that isn't necessarily the true with everybody else. And because it's a unique predisposition with individuals, sometimes people really need to do something more thoughtful with regards to what they're putting into the body to eliminate things they may be creating issues with an imbalance. So if your stomach is not feeling good and it's not feeling good and hasn't been feeling good for a long time, you may need to consult somebody that's more a specialist with regards to intestinal issues or digestive issues, like a dietitian. But whatever it is you need to do to look after yourself, it's important that how the gut be in good, healthy balance so that you can have absorption of your nutrients, because it's those nutrients moving through your bloodstream that will make a big difference to the health of the skin and the tone of the skin. So for lifestyle changes, drink your water, eat healthy food, make sure you're eating your fiber. If it's fiber from cruciferous vegetables like broccoli or cabbage or kale, or even just lettuce, that is going to make a big difference with the movement of sludge through the small and large intestine. Drink water because it's important to keep the body overall hydrated, but also necessary for the flow of the toxins in the gut to be eliminated. And exercising 20 minutes a day is a great start. And for a lot of people, it can just be walking because it makes a big difference, again, for the lymphatic circulation, excellent for your mood, and perhaps better than anything else. We have only one temple, only one body. If we don't move it, it doesn't get any better. It just gets worse. So get off the couch and do some steps. Sleep at least 8 hours a night. I like to sleep 9 to 10 if I've had a heavy exercise session. That's just me. Some people say they can survive on 4 to 5. I don't know how they do it. I really don't think your body has enough time to rebalance itself. I like to think of all the cells in the body as thousands and thousands, in fact, trillions and trillions of mechanics, and it needs the time to be able to rehabilitate itself, but actually for them to do their work. So if you have an opportunity to get a little cat nap now and again, it might be a great idea. So getting into treatment protocols with slimming and cellulite, these are the products we recommend when you're selling your packages. So here you're going to have a body brush. I'm going to skip through this because we don't have enough time in this presentation to talk about hydric and lipidic cellulite to a great degree. We'll come back to this at another time. But I am a great believer in body brushing. And the reason for this, it's something that's very easy to do. And if you look at the history of body brushing or techniques that are similar to body brushing, loofahs is an example. You have places in the world like China and the Middle East, Turkish spas, hammams, where there's a lot of stimulation to the body, Korean spas with salts, the stimulation to the body to not only detoxify the skin through cellular renewal, basically exfoliation, but also to accelerate the lymphatic movement of the body. This is excellent for overall balance of the circulatory system, but the strengthening and toning of the dermis. So when you do body brushing, you're always going from the outside to the inside, meaning from the distal to the proximal, so fingertips to the chest, from the toes to the groin, belly in a circular direction, always clockwise to help with elimination, on the back in any direction. It doesn't make a difference there. But body brushing should be done dry. So if you're going to be doing a body service, whether it be massage, whether it be a body wrap for relaxation, or a body wrap for cellulite, I encourage you to bring a brush into your treatment room that would be retailed to the client. So you don't necessarily have to reuse that brush. Obviously, if you do, you have to sanitize it, but recommending that the brush be taken home and encouraged it to be used frequently will make a big difference. Even if it's just 2 to 3 times a week, before a shower or before a bath, it will make a big difference for the client. Body lotion is available for conditioning the skin, increasing the elasticity and the tone of the epidermis. And of course, we have a hand cream, since a lot of people are looking for more youthful hands, since generally these days, because a lot of people look after their face, the hands are the go-to to see how old the person actually is, since it's not always aging well. But with the appearance of soft cellulite or very little cellulite, the Olea Slim Cream, especially for that skinny fat person, we talked about the nervous morphology having that. The Olea Slim Cream will help to tighten the epidermis, but also resolve some of the appearance of that soft cellulite. And it has a pleasant fragrance. But the Olea Slim Oil is more designed for that harder lipidic cellulite. Used in conjunction with the Olea Slim Bath, and the Olea Slim Bath will be targeting the circulatory system. So the bath, used 2 to 3 times a week, will mimic a body wrap. So in this particular time in history, again, because of all the conditions going on, people might not want to do a body wrap or even come into the spa. So they can actually be doing their home care to get the results. The bath, you're going to be using one of the caps, a cap full of bath into the water. The water should be about 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit. So just measure it with a thermometer. You put the oil into the water. They soak in the tub for 10 to 20 minutes, and they come out, they pat themselves dry, and they put on their oil or their lotion, depending on the area that they want to target. But they brush before they go into the bath. So the bath, for the Olea Slim bath, it's better to do the bath in the afternoon, not right before you go to bed, because it can be a little stimulating for you. If you actually have stress issues, the relaxing bath can be used. Sometimes you need to actually use this at the same time you're doing cellulite treatments, because the cellulite might be a result of anxiety or a result in how the hormonal system and the body's being out of balance. And you can certainly mix the two of them together if that is what you prefer. But definitely for the nervous and the bilious body types, relaxation baths will help them a great deal. Going back just a little bit, sorry, I'm skipping back and forth. And I saw that there were a couple of questions, which I'll address in a second. So the body lotion and the hand cream are signature Nelly products. Olea Slim Oil. They can have both, but it's one or the other. So if it's the cream, it's for soft cellulite. If it's the oil, it's for hard cellulite. And both the cream and the oil can be used in conjunction with the Olea Slim Bath. So you're selling it as a set. The neck and bust firming cream goes without saying for people that are concerned about other aesthetic areas of their body. If you're more inclined towards varicose veins or spider veins, the circular oil can be used daily or occasionally, like if you're going to the gym or doing a long hike. This helps to reinforce the venous circulation. So it's used and encouraged to create strength to the actual vascular nature, but it's much like support hose without the hose. If people don't like the oil, there is a cream version of this. The oil is more concentrated and will last longer than the cream, and that's one of the reasons why the price is more than the oil is more than the cream price-wise. If they have heavy varicose veins, you can put the oil on the area where the veins are dominant before you do any wrapping solutions for cellulite. to prevent any edema, which can be problematic again if you're using too much heat. The circular creme, excellent for circulation, but also great for stress areas like lower back pain, neck and shoulder pain. Some people will use it just because they get headaches and migraines. They don't want to take any other medications. For professional use only, we have the body massage oil, so a signature scent, and the Olea Slim body treatment is the most successful body treatment probably in the marketplace, being around for over 65 years. 13 plant extracts being used for breaking down cellulite, reducing edema, encouraging detoxification of the body. One wrap as a standalone is really for detox, but in a series, it's for breaking down the appearance of cellulite. We do have pictures we can actually show you, or you can use within your office to show the before and after, but I encourage you to do your own personal documentation so you can see the transition of the body over a short period of time. If a client is only able to come in once a week for a body treatment, they have to be doing the bath 2 times a week at home. So as an example, if they came in on a Monday to do a body wrap, Wednesday and Friday, they should be doing the bath at home. If not, ideally, it's 2 to 3 times a week they should be doing a body wrap. The body needs to accumulate or to increase its ability to respond to the active ingredients. It doesn't happen in one treatment in a body wrap, that is. It has to be done in synergy. So when we're doing a body wrap, the protocol itself is very straightforward. You are exfoliating the skin potentially. You can use a Vichy if you have one, but the body treatment itself, you just need a plastic sheet, you need a heating blanket, and you need to have towels. You can use hot towels or dry towels. There's no need to worry about the body oil staining your sheets or towels or the client, because it's completely absorbed in the 20 minutes that it's actually on the skin. So again, the products needed for your body treatment, you have a body brush, you have the body treatment oil, which you're going to be using. It says here 15 to 20 drops of Hygieia if you want to use it in water to clean the skin, but you're going to be using about 15 to 20 milliliters of the oil on the body. You do not apply it to areas that the client does not want to lose fat. If the woman wants to reduce her bust size, you can certainly use it there, but generally it's recommended for the abdomen, the legs, upper thighs, and even upper arms. So the protocol, once the oil is applied, it's to wrap the body with the plastic sheet, then the heating blanket, and then it's on for 20 minutes minimum. Generally, that's as long as I will leave the heat on, but prior to the heat, we can do other things such as body exfoliation, lymphatic massage, body scrubs, and after the wrap, you could do a massage if you wish, or just simply to towel the client off and they come back for their next service. So set up your bed comfortably, make it aesthetically appealing, of course. I know you all do, because if you've worked with me before, we've talked about why it's important for the aesthetics of a room, not only to look fresh and clean, but you're inviting your client into a relaxing atmosphere, and it makes all the difference in the world if it looks good and they feel good. Again, in your treatment setup, you don't need a lot of tools, but do make sure you have a brush, the measuring flask that we supply when you're actually applying the Olea Slim oil, and measuring tape if you're going towards a series of treatments, and of course, timers so that how the client is not on the bed too long. Just some of the aesthetic appearances that some of our clients have done over time. A nice, beautiful, professional setup, and it makes all the difference in the world. For those people that had question, for those who do not want to get into a tub, can this be utilized in a shower? The answer for the Olea Slim is no. And the reason for that is that how you actually, when you are doing a bath or a soak, you're actually mimicking a wrap, and you can't do that actually in the shower. The other way that you can use the Olea Slim, if you have it in your environment, is actually an infrared sauna or any heat source where they don't necessarily have to be in water. So as long as the person is in that environment for 15 to 20 minutes and the skin is dilating, then you're going to get absorption of the active ingredients into the body. Generally, perspiration may occur, especially for our sanguineous morphologies, very quickly because their body type is indicative of an increase in circulatory stress or circulatory stimulation. The other three body types, the nervous, the bilious, and the lymphatic, it isn't with body wraps, it's usually the second to the third time the assimilation of the active ingredients over that time that their body starts to understand what it should be doing or can be doing. So don't expect all body types to sweat right away in a body wrap or right away with the products. In the baths, I've often told clients, if you have the right temperature and you're in the tub for your 15 to 20 minutes, you will feel like you're perspiring in your tub. And that's what it should feel like. So the active ingredients, again, the cinnamon especially, is to encourage the stimulation of the circulatory system, and that will make a big difference with how you're actually going to move the fat along. With regards to actual cellulite reduction, you're looking for a reduction in diameter and appearance. Cellulite is a unique phenomenon. It generally goes from this very dense stage, if you have lipidic cellulite, through a transition stage, which looks like hydric cellulite. It becomes loose and sometimes uglier. It's important to tell the client what they're actually going to be experiencing through the transition in a series of wraps. Because if they're not prepared for this, they may actually get frustrated. I have found generally after 3 to 4 body wraps or 2 to 3 weeks, this is when it tends to occur, and then it starts to reshape itself. So you have a better contouring of the actual physique. Because cellulite in this particular situation is never eliminated 100%, we are not doing liposuction. We're doing body modification, and it's temporary. So this protocol may be revisited every year if the client is looking to see a situation change before, let's say, bikini season. So for winter, since we're talking about how to market yourself well, for winter, right now, body wraps can be for detoxification or for relaxation. If you do an Olea Slim body wrap, I would suggest you call it a detox wrap. If you're doing a relaxation wrap, it goes without saying what it's for. But in both situations, I would encourage you to maybe think about doing a little mini facial or an eye treatment so that you're actually utilizing the service time the client is in the wrap for something else. But prepare the client for a complete experience by encouraging body brushing, body exfoliation, lymphatic massage, if you know that technique, before you actually get into the wrap. And when you finish the wrap and undress the client, they may or may not want to towel off. They don't have to. With these products, they absorb completely into the skin, but it is an opportunity for you to create a well-rounded treatment over the course of 1 hour. My time is up for today. I'm sorry that how the time was so short, but we're trying to keep this to 1 hour, and we may revisit the body protocol just to remind you again as we get towards summer, the importance of body wraps for cellulite and in a series, and why a lot of people that are preparing their bodies for summer, especially for the appearance of cellulite, why it's important for them to commit to home care as well as the body wraps as well. And hopefully by then we don't have to deal with any of the current situation environmentally. So I wish you all well, enjoy 2021, stay healthy, and I hope to see you again soon in the future. Have a great day.